You are listening to Larry Conners, USA.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
This is Larry Conners USA. Larry Conners USA.
This was originally called the Wuhan virus or the Chinese virus. That's what it is. And I think that it's a sad story that for over a year, the Western world was basically lied to by China and accepted it. And people who said, hey, this is a laboratory, they were ridiculed. And I think now you're beginning to find out that the weight of evidence is overwhelming, in part because technically a disease which comes from an animal into a human evolves at a much slower rate. This was a very rapid, I think, deliberately engineered disease, probably escaped because of clumsiness or sloppiness, probably not a deliberate effort. But nonetheless, China is responsible for the death of millions.
That is Newt Gingrich, former GOP House Speaker. This is May 28, 2021. Gingrich expressing views of many Americans now. And, of course, many of us already had that view. So are you surprised that suddenly all of the former mainstream media, which is now state-controlled media, agrees it is possible, yes, that COVID came from the Wuhan lab? A leak or something. I mean, they denied it. And as you heard Gingrich say, if you dared bring that up, that it came from Wuhan, as President Trump would say, it's China, the Wuhan China virus, he was constantly berated, attacked, and China was even trying to say it started here in our nation. And the World Health Organization was helping peddle that story. And again, the mainstream media at that time did exactly the same thing, because it was Trump in office. But now suddenly something that was mocked because Trump suggested it has not just a sense of reality, but we're getting facts that certainly say there is no other option. Now, the question is, was it an accident that it got out? And were they just still looking at it, or were they actually trying to manufacture and create a bioweapon? Those questions still need to be resolved. And now suddenly President Biden, of course, the other day said, I want our intel agencies in there. I want a full report in 90 days. What is the day I said? This is May 28th. You know, he was sworn in January. And he told during the campaign, when he was campaigning from the debate stage, said the first day I'm in office, I'll call the premier and ask what the hell's going on with COVID. He never called him. And now sworn in January, and here we are, May 28th, and 2 days ago he said, okay, I want intel agencies to take a look at it. Very slow to react, wouldn't you think? By the way, former GOP House Speaker Paul Ryan, I told you this was going to happen yesterday. He did speak at the Reagan Library yesterday evening, and saying, don't follow the man with the orange hair, or you will destroy conservatives. Do you agree? We'll get into that. Emily Kao, law professor with Heritage, did a column on the right way to face racism. She'll be joining us also over the next 2 hours. I also have a couple stories perfect in advance of Memorial Day. Of course, Memorial Day honoring all of our men and women in the U.S., who died, I should say, in the U.S. military, serving our country. One of the stories I have involves those who fought with the U.S. during World War II. It is a story of a Jewish suicide squad. It's a very fascinating story, because if they were identified, first of all, if they're caught, and then if they were identified as being Jews, they face certain torture and death. And they all had fake IDs posing as Brits or something of that nature, just in case they got caught. It's a very fascinating story. Another involves a current event, a Korean American who served as an officer in our U.S. Marines. North Korea wants him extradited to get him in their control to execute him. I'll tell you what North Korea claims that he did. I say North Korea claims that he did. And the process, they're using Spain to kind of force us to extradite him to Spain. It's somewhat complicated, and yet it boils down to the simple fact that North Korea wants this U.S. Marine officer extradited to Spain so then they can get him torture and death. Lock and load. Ready on the right.
You can email Larry at LarryConnersUSA@gmail.com. LarryConnersUSA@gmail.com.